Live from New York, it's a show that ironically has their son right there at work with him. First things first.
He's waving.
He's waving at a camera that doesn't exist.
Today, Bronny James, newest Laker, but the question is, how much will he contribute, if at all? Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers is back. Where was he?
Yeah.
Nobody
There's all
knows.
types of rumors out there.
Yeah.
Egypt?
I dug into some stuff.
Oh,
Did?
Yeah.
I hear that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Tortania. Watch out for those mud floods. And finally, why Dusty's favorite analyst, and it's no one on this show, thinks the Chargers can steal the AFC West from the
Get
Chiefs.
the bulletin board ready.
It is right. It's behind
I
you.
see it.
And well, what?
You just spoil all of Brew and My's bits because you just want to be the star every day.
Well, I value transparency.
Okay.
Alongside Nick Wright and Kevin Wilds. Brew, are you becoming a Chargers guy?
They got rid of that coach you didn't like.
No,
You like Harbaugh,
that
Michigan man?
I was saying, and I was one of the first to say, get rid of Brandon Staley. All right?
That's true.
I like Harbaugh. He brought Michigan a championship. I paid a lot of money to Michigan.
You know what?
for my
We were
daughter.
wrong about
So,
that. You said fire Staley after a win, I think. We're like,
Yeah,
I
and
was
Wilds
right.
was like,
I was right.
Wilds was like, we can't put it in the
It's
show.
about
It'll
Super
get
Bowls.
Brew too much attention.
It's about
And so,
Super
yeah.
Bowls,
I was wrong about
not
that.
winning
Yeah, exactly.
one regular season game.
we start with the 55th pick, Bronny James, selected by the Lakers. Happy moment in LA. Here's Bronny being drafted. Some skepticism in the media. A friend of the show, Vincent Goodwell, had a great article and kind of an incendiary tweet. That's probably too much. I thought the tweet was good. Lakers are a family-run organization, the Buss family, the Randus family, and now the James family. If there's one organization that couldn't thumb its nose at a star wanting this particular wish, it's the Lakers. It can still be cringy, too. Nick, is skepticism around the pick warranted?
I think the coverage of this has been absolutely maddening and so disingenuous by so many people.
I buy that.
So, a couple things that no one has ever pretended to care about in the NBA are now hot button issues. The nepotism piece of it. I'm old enough to remember Costas Athanasiou being picks in the 50s or the 60th pick, and not a single person was like, there's a 4-year senior out there who's having his moment stolen because a team wants to kiss up to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nobody cared. The value of second-round picks. Day before yesterday, Dylan Jones, the 26th pick of the draft, was traded straight up for 5 second-round picks. Last night, the 52nd pick of the draft was traded for cash. About $2 million. Wire it to me. We'll take some in Bitcoin. That's it. No one cares. And now all of a sudden people's obvious, transparent dislike or jealousy or whatever of LeBron has colored this whole thing. Because I guarantee you, if in 15 years, Cannon Curry, Steph's youngest, is a fringe NBA prospect, and the Warriors are like, you know what? It's a good story. I think he's a good kid, and he's got a shot. We have him 71st on our board. We'll draft him 58th. The think pieces aren't coming. Instead, people are like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is super dope. And this should have been celebrated like that. Because this picture right here is one of the coolest stories ever. These two human beings now play for the same basketball team. That's LeBron James making the NBA Finals with his toddler son, and now they're on a team together. And lastly, Brew, obviously, nepotism played a piece in this. But the idea that Bronny deserves nowhere to be in the room denies these realities. We saw him in the McDonald's All-American game. Play very well against his peers, score 15 points, shoot well. We then saw him at the Combine perform in the top 10 percentile in 2 separate, very different either athleticism or shooting drills. What we also saw was 10 months ago, this kid's heart stopped on the court, and he didn't have a great year of college basketball. And instead of the story being one of, if not the greatest player ever, has played long enough that his kid is now going to be his teammate. And by the way, that kid, impeccable off-court resume and overcame what could have been a life-ending moment. The story is just a weird, LeBron's too much power, disingenuous. What about I didn't like any of it. So that's how I feel the story should have gone and would have gone for any player in the league other than LeBron James's kid.
The story is fantastic and should absolutely be celebrated. And the reason this has never happened in the NBA before is because LeBron is about to start his 22nd year. And he entered the league early, we know, right out of high school. So no one's been able to play this long for the most part, and then to play with their son. And hey, we'll get to it later. He might play with his other son too. We'll see. All right, Bryce. But this is a phenomenal story. And I agree with Nick. I do not, and I mentioned this yesterday, want to hear anything about nepotism at all until you start addressing the nepotism throughout not only the NBA, but sports. In fact, it's more than sports. All right, it's in politics. It's throughout American society. So now you want to address it? When an African American got the juice to have some nepotism benefit his family, I'm supposed to get angry? Please, not at all. In fact, the Lakers, who was the president of basketball operations for the Lakers about a decade ago? Jim Buss.
Yeah.
Was he qualified?
I don't know. Who's the owner now?
Pushed out.
Jeannie Buss, right. Because he wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
and I dealt with Jim. I liked him, but he didn't do a great job.
Yeah.
But he was the owner's son.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mentioned coaches yesterday. We can go to front offices. It is throughout the league, and it's throughout other sports as well. So don't even bring that to me now. Okay? Now, as far as the skepticism, I was skeptical a year or two ago when LeBron first started talking about wanting to play with Bronny, because I was like, is that best for Bronny? Okay, I was like, number one, he may feel like, look, man, I don't want to get there on my dad's coattails. I want to get there on my own merits. And as Nick said, he does have merits. Now, not great merits at this point, but he's certainly an NBA, on the fringe of being an NBA player. Okay, and you got to give him grace because of the cardiac arrest he suffered not that long ago. So I was wondering that. But like I said, all these guys in the NBA front offices, we had a couple guys pass. Bill Walton passed recently. His son Luke was a coach in the NBA. Jerry West, the legend, passed. His two sons, Johnny works in the front office for Golden State. Ryan works in the front office, was with the Lakers, then with the Pistons. And if they don't feel like, man, did I really deserve to get? Bronny shouldn't feel that way either. You just got to capitalize on it and
your
take
foot in the door,
right, and then take advantage of it. All right. The second thing was Bronny, my concern was, okay, he probably is going to want to feel like, let me get out of my dad's shadow and spread my wings. That's going to be a challenge to do. What changed my thoughts on it is watching Bronny like at the combine and talk about it. He seems comfortable in his own skin. He's had to deal with being LeBron James Jr. his entire life. And so he's used to it. And I think he sincerely looks happy just to be in the league, whether it's playing with his dad or not. I do think it's more important to LeBron. But I think he's just got to make the most of this opportunity.
Sure.
So I am not as skeptical about that aspect of it as I once was. I think it's good for Bronny, and he's just got to make the most of it. You got your foot in the door. Now here's your chance. Do your thing.
See, I buy that. I don't buy being 100% non-skeptical, like Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr., and it felt like any pushback was a little bit of, I don't know. I don't think people were buying that was the story. Like, oh my God, can you believe it? The two Griffeys there playing together. So I think there is a little bit of skepticism that's fair, not totally dissimilar to like Bill Belichick having his sons on the staff.
Right.
Were those guys going to be hired on other NFL staffs? Probably not. Were they related to the GOAT coach? Yes. Do they have a strong relationship with the most important person in the organization? Yes. Could they help get a little push ahead and turn out to be pretty good? Yes. But was that met with some skepticism? Yeah, even though they're